Welcome to the second, well, that was random episode of the AC Show, where I'm just going to talk about a bunch of shit going on in my life and hope it relates to your life. Hopefully we figure some things out together. Always happy to have your guys' feedback. I'm an easy guy to find, so get at me wherever you want to send me a message. Head to andrewchristophermusic.com. You can email me from there, or more importantly, sign up for the newsletter, my monthly newsletter that I sent out. You get a surprise acoustic cover song, and you get information about my gigs coming up and a little recap about some of my favorite podcasts. So make sure you sign up for that. Today we're going to discuss a few different things. Exercise habits, what's going on in my life with that. Putting kids to sleep, some tips maybe for new parents out there that I've found work really well. We'll talk about kids dealing with issues that I wish they didn't have to deal with at the ages that they are right now, specifically my kids, but I'm sure some of you can relate to it as well. And then we'll talk a little spring cleaning and self-awareness. You'll figure out what I mean by that when we get to that part of the show. As always, the AC Show is brought to you by Miss Rebecca Casey, mortgage professional with DLC Origin Mortgages. If you have any questions about the real estate market and your position in regards to getting into the market, send an email to rebecca@customcoastmortgages.com. She's happy to chat with you free of charge. Just maybe give her a day or two to reply, because I know things are really blowing up for her with her business right now, which is awesome. She put together, with a couple other local business people, this great family day skate. They rented out the ice at South Surrey Arena. They brought in snacks and coffee and had a photographer there to take photos of all the families. They put their money into it, opened it up for any family and a bunch of their clients who they had come out. It was such a cool thing to do and a great way to interact and meet new people. So props to you for doing that one, Rebecca. And congrats on your new home that you're moving into this week. That's so awesome. Can't wait to come over for dinner. Make Sean cook me something really good, please. Hey, Rebecca, you're so fine. Your mortgage knowledge blows my mind. Rebecca Casey.
It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host. It's the Andrew Christopher Show. But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show. It's the AC Show.
It's the AC Show with AC, your host. Check it out.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some of this random stuff. First of all, I'm going to talk about the exercise routines and something big in my life. I think I'm going to quit my gym, Steve Nash, or I'm at least going to put my membership on hold. I think you can freeze it for like up to 6 months or something like that. And I'm still making the decision because, I mean, I've been lifting weights, going to a gym since high school pretty regularly. And this specific one for 6 years. And I've always loved it. I get great results out of it. It's somewhere I go for some alone time. But just the other day, I walked into the gym and I was like, something's feeling weird. And so I tried doing my workout and getting into it. And I was like, no, this just doesn't feel right anymore, what I'm doing. I need something different. And I've gone through phases where I change up my workout routine, just doing different exercises. And that's helped. And I love doing that, always challenging myself in different ways. But this was a different feeling where it was like the setting that I was exercising in. I don't think I'm getting what I really need out of it being there anymore. So I'm still finalizing my plan for what I'm going to do to continue exercising without going to the gym. It might save me a bit of money. I'm not too worried about that. I think the main thing is the time I'm spending at that gym is mainly working on my physical body, whereas I think and I hope I can find other ways of exercising to help progress and maintain my physical health as well as working on my mental health. So obviously the things that come to mind are something like yoga, which I'm very lucky. Jamie's parents own a yoga studio, so I can go and do yoga at Nourish Hot Yoga. And so I'm probably going to start doing some of that. But also, yesterday, Haven took me through this incredible workout routine that she put together herself. It's such a freaking heartwarming story. It almost makes me cry. So I'm sitting down here yesterday trying to put a podcast together, and I'm struggling coming up with ideas, things to talk about, just not in a good headspace. And she was down here with me, and I told her, I'm like, hey, Dad's just having a hard time. I was very open with her. I said, I'm having a hard time. I know I need to get this podcast done. I know I need to take care of you guys, and I know I need to exercise, and I'm just not figuring out how to do any of that right now. And she said, okay, Dad, let's go exercise. I know what to do. I'll set up like a course for you to do. So I was like, okay, whatever. I got up off the couch, went upstairs, and we've got 2 dumbbells, and just went into the living room. And she was like, okay, first, let's do some stretching. And so we started stretching. She led me through some stretching. This is Haven. She's 6 years old. And led us through some stretching. And then she says, okay, now take the weights, put them on the floor like this. And then she showed me, got down, grabbed the weights. And she said, do 2 push-ups, did 2 push-ups. And then she says, and then grab the weights and pull them up like this and push them up like this over her head, like an overhead press. I was like, this is awesome. And she said, and you're going to do that 3 times. So got down, did my push-ups, overhead press 3 times. And then she claps. Okay, we're done. Next. And she starts snapping her fingers as she thinks about what's next. She's like, okay, and now we're going to do this. And she went and got all the pillows off of the couch, spread them out across the living room, and said, now, Dad, I'm going to time you. Give me your phone. I'm going to time you how quick it takes to pick up all these pillows and put them back on the couch. Okay, ready? Go. And she came up with 4 or 5 really cool exercises for me that she's kind of seen at boot camp, I think, because she's been coming to the boot camp in the morning that Jamie and I Saturday mornings are going to with Tara Zorn. So Haven's putting me through this, and it's so amazing. And it's a workout. You can make anything a workout if you're willing to work hard enough. You can make all these exercises really hard on yourself, or you can slack off and make them easy and not even break a sweat. But we were moving. We got sweating, and then I said, hey, why don't we put some music on? So we searched workout music on YouTube, and we pretty much ended up finding like an actual workout video, a Jillian Michaels one. And so we put that on, and we were trying to do it together, and it was fun and funny. Some of the exercises we could barely even do, but we worked through that. And then I said, okay, that's pretty good. Why don't we do some yoga? And she was like, cool. Yeah, let's do some yoga. So I put on a YouTube yoga video, followed that for 10 minutes. And then after the yoga, I said, do you want to try some meditation? She said, what's that? And so we put it on, 10-minute meditation, sat there, and at halfway through, she was like, Dad, I don't really get this. And I was like, that's okay. Go, do what you got to do. I finished off the meditation, and it was really cool. Side note, I have a hard time with some of the yoga stuff and the meditation because I can't sit comfortably on the floor. I guess I'm not flexible enough in the right areas. And so I have a hard time with that. I kind of laid down to do it. I think that's still okay. Or I think you're allowed to sit in a chair, maybe. I don't know. I just got to get more flexible. Got to start stretching more, hence the yoga. So there's something. I can do yoga already, and I can do these home workouts. We've got a few pieces of equipment. I know how to work out on my own as well. And if I can be at home involving Haven or the other kids, or at least just be around to help a little bit and take one of them off Jamie's hands or whatever, then that's another big bonus of not going to the gym. And I know you can look at it the other way and say, well, you're going to be distracted and not get as good of a workout. But who cares? You're spending time with your kids. You're getting a bit of exercise. And really, I don't need to be in the best shape of my life right now. I don't think that needs to be one of my top priorities. And that's where this is coming from, where I'm saying, I don't think I need to go to the gym anymore. I'm happy if I'm in good shape. I can start doing other things that'll keep me in shape and can also help me in relationships with my family and my kids and mentally making me feel better. I'm for sure going to keep doing this boot camp Saturday mornings. It's fantastic, really good workout. We can bring the kids and they don't really distract us. And it's great for Jamie and I, as I mentioned in the previous podcast. Going to do some yoga, do some home workouts, and then I just want to start exercising outside again. Whether it's playing sports like baseball or basketball, playing around with the kids. And again, you can work as hard as you want. When you're playing with kids, you can work up a sweat, no problem. So I'm going to start doing that, as well as, going for runs, hopefully through the forest. There's a lot of great trails around here. Getting out into nature again, where it'll help me mentally as well as physically. So it's a big, big turning point in my life here, I hope. And full disclosure, I have not frozen that gym membership yet, but I'm very close. I would say I'm 99% sure about this decision. I want to do it, freeze the membership, and just start trying different ways of exercising that help me more than just physically. All right.
Family time, family time. Ooh, 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 it's family time. It's family time. Woo! Yeah!
Yeah, a little bit of family time. Ledger had a rough night last night, and he's just teething a little bit. This is our 8-month-old son. And so I was up helping Jamie a bit and trying to put him to sleep. It wasn't going so well. I tried, put him down, started crying. Jamie came in. She tried. He wasn't going to sleep. She put him down, came to bed. He started fussing again. I went back in there. Anyway, bit of back and forth like that. And at the end of it, I finally got him to sleep. And then I got to bed and I could not get back to sleep. So I wrote down a bunch of notes about putting kids to sleep, in case there's any new parents out there who maybe want to hear some tips, or I just thought it was a few funny observations. So first of all, putting a kid to sleep that needs to be rocked, there's, I guess, two kind of main ways. The kind of stand and twist method, which works for some kids, and it worked for Ledger for a while. He's not big into it anymore. Don't go too aggressive with the twisting, but I think you'll find that kids do like a good firm twist. They like the speed sometimes, but we're not shaking the baby. Remember, we all know this. Nice stand, hold him tight against your chest, twisting back and forth. Or it's kind of the sitting in the chair and rocking, just rocking with some bum pats. We'll get into the bum pats later for sure, but then there's the noise aspect of it. We have this cool noise machine thing, which I think is great actually, and I enjoy using it. It's just the white noise or the sleep sounds or whatever. But even in conjunction with that, Jamie's go-to noise is this this kind of noise, and the kids like that one as well. I'm more of a shh guy, so it's the shh 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 shh. Shh, 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 shh. And you need to find the rhythm. That's a very important thing, because if you start changing the timing of your ahs or your shh, 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 the baby's going to notice. He's going to say, something's different here. Something's weird. I can't fall asleep. There's something going on, and it's not going to work. So make sure you're consistent in the rhythm of your noise that you're using, as well as the rocking. And if you're going to add in the butt taps, they all need to work together. So it's like you're performing as a drummer. It's not the easiest thing to do if you don't have great rhythm. So you need to practice. You could practice on like a doll or something, and get that rhythm down, because it is a very important piece of this puzzle. The next thing I want to point out is it's so cool when you finally do get a chance, but this is kind of once in a blue moon for us anyways, that you can actually watch your baby fall asleep as you're doing all these things. You can watch the eyes get heavier and start closing a bit more. It's so cool and peaceful to really see that, but it doesn't happen very often for us. And it's kind of, I would liken it to the saying that a watched kettle never boils. So like a watched baby's never going to close his eyes. What happens more often for us is you get all this going, you're watching him, he's starting to close his eyes, and then he opens them again, and you're like, come on, just go to sleep. And so you got to look away. Don't concentrate on it. Keep the humming going, keep the patting going and the rocking, whatever you're doing, but then look away, let him have his space, or her space, sorry, and then you'll look back and they'll be asleep. It's perfect. And you think you've done it. But don't change anything just yet. Keep it all going. Once you see that his eyes are fully closed, keep it going. keep rocking, keep humming, keep patting his bum, and don't move a fucking thing. Don't change anything. Otherwise, he's going to sense it. He's going to wake up. Give him a good couple minutes with his eyes closed, or her, sorry. And then slowly start removing one of these pieces. Take away the bum pats. Stop that. Keep the shushing going. Keep the rocking going. Take away the bum pats. Give that a minute. Then maybe you stop shushing or ing. Okay? It's tough, I know. And again, when you're doing this, if you do any of it too soon, they sense something is different and they wake up. Or if you just move your foot along the carpet, or if you look the other way, even if their eyes are closed, somehow they sense it, that things are changing, and they just wake up. And then you always blame yourself. You're like, frick, I shouldn't have wiggled my nose like that, or I shouldn't have curled my toes. And then you just get mad at yourself. It makes it harder. So slowly take away the aspects of patting and shushing, blah, blah, blah. And then it's the really tricky part of getting up out of the rocking chair without waking the baby and putting him in the crib. This is by far the hardest part of parenting. If you've dealt with a kid who doesn't want to go to sleep and he's sleeping on you somewhere and you need to move them. So you need to engage your core. This is one of the hardest exercises. This is what you should be putting in your exercise routine if you want to work out. Engage your core. Hold the baby tight, not too tight. You can't squeeze. Otherwise, again, they're going to wake up. Engage your core, rock forward, and get up all in one motion, trying not to move the angle of the baby or any changes like that. Do your best. A little eye open maybe, and then you go back. And then if you're standing, then you twist. You go into a bit of the twist. Maybe you bring back the or the shh. Give it a minute, maybe standing. Make sure he's settled, because then the dismount, putting him into the crib, is a whole other thing. There's no way you can get a baby from your chest into the crib without changing the angle that he's sleeping on or rolling him over or something. Ledger likes to sleep on his stomach, so we literally roll him over onto his stomach as we put him into the crib. So what I've found works best for this dismount is quick but smooth and quiet. So you bend over, quickly roll him onto his stomach, quietly, and I bring back the butt pat for about 30 seconds. Bring back the butt pat. Maybe he fusses a little bit, maybe he doesn't. Bring back the butt pat. Let him get settled, and then enter stealth mode to get yourself out of that room. And all these ninjas or cops or whatever who think they've gotten into stealth mode, you've never gotten into stealth mode until you've left the room with a sleeping toddler or baby. You got to open the door, sneak out. You got to close the door. You use all the muscles in your hand and forearm to close it as slow as you can, but as tight as you can, because you can't let the fucking cats get in the room and wake them up. So you got to close the door quietly as you can. Let it go, little creak, and you freak out and you're like, oh my God, if he wakes up, I'm going to die. But if you've done it correctly, entered that ninja stealth mode, exit the room, get back to bed, and then 2 or 3 hours later, you get to do it all again. And I'm going to give you guys one more tool to kind of work with to help you with this. I do often sing to Ledger now. It worked one time. It was Haven's idea. She came in when he was fussing and she said, why don't we sing him the Rockabye song? Because I used to sing it to Haven quite often. It's one that I've recorded, kind of a mashup that I wrote of different lullabies. And I put it on a CD that I released, I think it's over 10 years ago now, that I put out this kind of acoustic album called Gone. I'll play it for you guys here. First, I want to tell the story. I actually wrote it. I must have only been in grade 12 or something when my nephew Jordan was born. And I wrote this song for him, kind of. And it's been on the CD, and the girls fall asleep listening to my CDs, which absolutely warms my heart. Even Jaden, who's now almost 12 years old, and she doesn't put up a fight. We put the CD on. We've moved on to my newer CD with Parliament of Owls, but it used to always be this Gone CD, and this is one of the songs on there. So I sing it to Ledger, and it makes me feel really good when it works. And so if you guys need help, play this song for your kids. Go download it. It's on Spotify, wherever you want to get your music. I'll play it for you here so you can listen to it, and I think it's pretty sweet.
Rock on, baby, in the treetop. As the wind blows, the cradle's gonna rock. And if the bough breaks, that cradle will fall. Down will come, baby, cradle and all. So hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a big red mockingbird. But Daddy knows the bird won't sing a darn tune. So I'm gonna keep rocking this treetop with you. Rock on, baby, in the treetop. As the wind blows, the cradle's gonna rock. So look out below, look up and you'll see, rocking through the storm, my baby and me. Tooraloo-loo-ra, tooraloo-la-lie, tooraloo-loo-ra, hush now, don't you cry. And tooraloo-loo-ra, tooraloo-la-lie, you and me rocking an Irish lullaby. Rock on, baby, in the treetop. As the wind blows, the cradle's gonna rock. So look out below, look up and you see, rocking through the storm, my baby and me. Lullaby, good night, sweet baby, sleep tight.
So there it is, Rockabye by, that one's under Andrew Christopher. It's not a Parliament of Owls one. An original of mine from way back when. If you guys want to use that, feel free. It would mean a lot to me. And I think the kids really like it. It's pretty cute. One more thing about the kids going to sleep. Haven always does this thing. So Haven listens to the music, like I said. Haven and Jaden have the CD going. They don't go to sleep the greatest, but they do okay. Haven likes us to hold her hand or scratch her arm or something like this. And then as we say goodnight, she always asks for the other parent who's downstairs, whether it's me or Jamie. And she says, okay, and make sure you tell mommy to come up and say goodnight to me. I say, okay, I will. And Haven says, and if I'm sleeping, tell her to wake me up, okay? And I say, yes, Haven, I'll tell her to wake you up. And then she says, you promise? And I said, yes, I promise. But Jamie never wakes her up. That's our little secret. But she always says, if I'm sleeping, wake me up. And it's the cutest thing in the world. But I wouldn't suggest waking them up just to say goodnight. If they're sleeping, let them keep sleeping. Now on to a bit more serious of a topic that I introduced as kids having to deal with subjects or things that I wish they didn't have to deal with at such a young age. Give you an example right off the start. Haven came up to me and said, Dad, if you and Mom are married, can you still like break up? Does that happen? And I said, well, it can happen, but you don't have to worry about that right now. That's an adult problem, and it's not going to happen. I kind of dismissed it that way, and it just broke my heart that she's thinking about this kind of stuff already, and I really hope she's not thinking about it too much. Another thing that came up with Jaden and a friend was the topic of suicide, and I'm like, these are fucking heavy things that we're kind of getting brought to our attention, or we kind of bumped into it in the instance of Jaden and her friend. And it's just stuff that it breaks my heart that these kids are already thinking about this kind of stuff, and then it's going through their head. And these are the ones that we kind of caught, and what haven't we caught, or what are we missing that they're actually having to think about? And I think it's this content that they're being berated with on a daily basis, whether it's, on YouTube or TikToks or just on the TV shows that are out there that they're watching, albeit shows that we as parents are allowing them to watch. That's kind of another debate. There's kind of, you can shelter your kids as much as you see fit, And maybe we do need to be a bit more on the sheltering side, especially with the TV shows that talk about these kind of subjects. But you can shelter them as much as you want, and then they go to school, and there's other kids there who haven't been sheltered in this way, and they're talking about all this stuff and explaining it to your kids. So I don't know if there's a way of avoiding all this just by doing a good job in your home of protecting them from these subjects. And the other side of that is these kids are getting smarter and smarter, I think, and they're figuring these things out on their own, putting it together in their own head that, okay, yeah, people get married. Oh, but then some people aren't married. So they must have broken up. Or, hearing things just on the news. It's everywhere. On the radio, they talk about very mature subjects. And so it's going through these kids' heads. And I don't know, to me, it's heartbreaking. And I don't remember dealing with as much as that as a kid. I guess I can't remember everything from my childhood. So maybe I did. But as a parent now, looking at your children, it's so tough to see that they have to be thinking about these tough subjects. And I think a good way we've been dealing with it is saying, these subjects that you're talking about are adult conversations. They're things that adults should talk about. So if you hear about this or have questions about it, you need to talk to an adult about it. And I think as adults, we just need to be more prepared these days to have these difficult conversations with our kids. So, you may think, oh, my kids are only 3 and 5 years old, but maybe a good time to start doing your research on these kind of things and how to talk to kids about subjects like suicide, like divorce, like sex, because before you know it, it's going to come up out of their mouths before it comes from you, and you're going to be behind the 8 ball. So it's something I need to start looking into more, using the right terminology with the kids, especially something like suicide. Like, I don't know, it's so scary to think about, but it's on kids' minds. It just happens. It comes up at school, and we need to find ways to get ahead of the game and talk to our kids about it, especially when they come to it or come to us with these topics of conversation. Now, a quick point for the adults. Something I came across listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast, that he did an amazing interview with Brene Brown. And I would highly suggest you checking out that episode or some of Brene Brown's work. She's an author, so she's written a bunch of books, about self-awareness, helping better yourself as a wife, as a husband, as a person in general, or as a parent. So check some of that out, especially this interview with Tim Ferriss. It's one of his latest podcasts. And the one thing I really took away from it, they were talking about dealing with all the shit you've been through as a person, which inevitably everybody has been through shit. Some people's pile of shit is a bit bigger. Some people's is smaller. A lot of stuff coming out of childhood that, some people forget about, maybe don't realize, but everybody has stuff to work through. And they were talking that, it usually starts happening your late 30s, mid 40s. For me, I'd like to think I'm starting to get into it now. I think the sooner you can unpack some of this stuff, the better. But they likened it to spring cleaning in the sense that before you really get the cleaning done, you need to make a bigger mess than it already is. So you're taking stuff off the shelves so that you can clean the shelves properly, but then you're just throwing everything into the middle of the room, making a big pile of mess, and it's going to be even worse for a while. And probably halfway through your spring cleaning, you're going to want to quit. And you're like, this is stupid. I've just made the biggest mess in the world. And then you got to clean up that mess. But once you get that done, the cleaning's finished and everything is better once you put it back on the shelves. So likening it to working on yourself, finding out what shit you've really been through, putting it all out there, working on it, cleaning the shelves, and then putting it back. It really struck a chord with me, that analogy anyways, as we come into springtime and everybody's going to want to do their spring cleaning of their homes. Take it a bit more personally, do some deeper spring cleaning. It's not something that's going to happen in a weekend like the actual cleaning might, but it's something that you can start working on yourself. And somewhere I'm happy to say that I'm starting to work on a lot of this stuff, whether it's to do with Lily Jean or my dad, my childhood. It's a lot of stuff to unpack, but we've all got shit to deal with, and we should all be able to be open about it, talk about it, and be there for each other. Okay, moving on. I'm on my own, but I guess we still need to
Rank something.
Oh my god.
Rank something.
Oh my god.
Rank something.
Rank Something is brought to you by charitables.com, which is a platform for spreading kindness. You can declutter your home and your life while contributing to a cause close to your heart. Our motto is give good, feel good, because we believe the path to true fulfillment is paved with kindness and love towards others. Tax receipts are also helpful. So you will get a big fat tax receipt depending on what you donate or what you buy. The guys at Charitables rock. I don't know if you guys saw my post about the drawing that John from Charitables did. He did a drawing of Carey Price and Shea Weber, this incredible pencil sketch drawing. And I showed it and people are like, wait, someone actually drew that? And Haven was like, there's no way someone could draw that. And it's true. It's unbelievably good. He got it autographed by the guys and he's selling prints of it, which one he gave to me. I posted it on my Instagram. You can go see it. So he's selling these prints for $50. $25 goes to the charity of your choice. So if you want to find that, head to charitables.com or find John and send him a message. Going to get into my top 3 gigs of all time that I've played as a musician. Some pretty cool ones. And I'm going to start number 3 with I got to play at Gone Country a couple years ago with my band. Gone Country is an amazing country festival they put together, a one-day festival to raise money for cancer research. And they've raised millions of dollars already. I think this is their 8th season coming up doing it. And they get some pretty cool names coming in to play as the headliners. We were one of the opening acts, and it was just such an amazing cause to help. And I got to play Sweetheart, my song that I wrote for my daughter, Lily Jean. And we played a bunch of other tunes, and just the backstage was awesome. The trailers they had, there was food everywhere, as much booze as we wanted. And the whole concert was just great. Amazing stage, amazing people running the organization, Jamie and Chris Ruchinski, the Property Twins in Langley. They do a fantastic job, and that's probably my number 3rd favorite gig that I've played. Coming into number 2, I would put the Merritt Mountain Music Festival. I went and played that, but it's not called Merritt anymore. Sorry, it's the Rockin' River Fest in Merritt, and that was probably more like 3 years ago. And again, we took an RV up there. It was such a cool experience with the full band. We went by Andrew Christopher and the Wheat Kings was our band name, and doing a bunch of my country original stuff and a few covers that we love doing. And Sam Hunt was the headliner that year, and he really wasn't that great. High Valley was there. I liked High Valley. Sam Hunt was the headliner. It was okay. Funny story about Merritt. My buddy Desi came up, huge country music fan. He's a veteran at Merritt. He goes there all the time, camps out. And we were there watching Sam Hunt. I didn't want to leave to go to the bathroom because I knew I would get lost in the sea of people and I would never find Jamie and our group again. So I told Desi, I was like, I got to go pee. And he said, well, just pee between my legs as we're in the crowd of people watching Sam Hunt play. And he said, yeah, I'll just spread my legs open and you pee in between them. And then we move a couple feet to the right. So did it. It worked out fine. Like, what a veteran move for concert goers. If you need any help when you need to go to the bathroom, try that one out. So that was great. Checked out Sam Hunt. Our set was earlier in the day. It went really well. Huge stage, huge screen, huge sound system. It was just like top tier festival stuff. So it was absolutely incredible. Got to play that. And then the after party, I got up on top of Desi's camper. He had a speaker set up for me, had my guitar plugged in, played cover tunes all night long, asked people for tips or booze if they wanted to bring it to me. Maybe drank a bit too much that night, but also made quite a bit of money. There was probably like 100 people around his campsite where I was just strumming my guitar, plugged in, blasting tunes through the stereo. It was fantastic. Really cool experience. But my number 1, when I was just a young lad, I had just joined the band Pardon My Striptease, and we took a trip to New York, believe it or not, and I played at Carnegie Hall, one of the most famous concert venues in the world. We were the backup band for a kayagum player, which is a traditional Korean instrument. She needed a band, so my guys were her backup band, and then I got to sing a few songs on the stage at Carnegie Hall. And just that entire trip to New York was incredible. Such a cool city. I was only 21, so I would love to get back and see some more of it. But there you go. That's my top 3 gigs of all time that I just came up with right now. Because as always, I'm kind of underprepared for
Rank something.
Oh my god.
Rank something.
Oh my god.
Rank something.
All right, you guys, that's it for me this week. Just a quick one. Well, that was random, number 2, and there will be more as I continue to try and balance work, podcasts, and my family life. And all this new exercise routine I got to figure out. Anyway, sign up for the newsletter at andrewchristophermusic.com. Send me your requests, and maybe I'll pick yours for the exclusive acoustic cover song that I send out on the 1st of each month. And make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Share it and rate it. 5 stars if you don't mind.
Bye-bye, friends.
It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host. It's the Andrew Christopher Show. But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show. It's the AC Show.
It's the AC Show with AC, your host. Check it out.